Hi, you guys. You never know what you're going to get on this channel, so you better subscribe, like, and hit that notification button. Guess who I'm talking about today? The one, the only, the lost, missing Conrad Hilton. Yes, Kathy Hilton's son, who's mysteriously missing from Paris in Love, This Is Paris, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, her birthdays, the press, everything. And the question is, why? And that's what this video is going to attempt to Lego together today. Had to. So Kathy's son, Conrad, should not be confused with Baron. Conrad is 28 years old and he's constantly getting in trouble for things. Now, some things I can talk about on the YouTube and some things I can't. So there is a bonus audio, which I'll put in the description of this link, that really breaks it down and actually shows the footage of some of the crazier things that Conrad has done. And you'll understand very quickly why I can't show it on YouTube when you listen to that bonus audio, because I actually play clips from different things that Conrad has said and done, which is pretty, you have to hear them because otherwise you wouldn't believe it. Sorry, I clicked the button too quick. Okay. So Conrad's been arrested a few times. He was arrested for assault to a flight attendant. He was arrested for breaking into his ex-girlfriend's house, who, by the way, remember the guy that Paris Hilton did the sex tape with? I mean, you know, he released it unbeknownst to her, and she talks about it in This Paris. It was like devastating to her, et cetera, et cetera. Well, his daughter, by the way, Rick Solomon should not be hanging out with Conrad, okay? Even as the father of the girl he's dating, because he's not exactly the best influence for someone who has drug issues, that's for sure. Allegedly. Okay, watch this clip. This is Conrad talking to Rick. But notice that he says that he might have been planning this like revenge against him for years. It's very strange.
Rick, I'd like to move forward and have a mutual respect between the two of us. I'm sorry, even though it was all an illusion. I'm sorry for what I tried doing. I'm sorry for trying to take advantage of your wife, your daughters. I thought you took advantage of my sister. I don't know if you did, but I'm pretty sure it was an illusion too. You guys aren't porn stars, you're magicians. Teach me, please. I want Hunter. Please. Make me want her more. Please. Teach me to be the guy that she deserves. She does not need Jimmy Kahn. Not saying he's not a nice guy, but please help me. Please. That's it.
Yeah, it's like if the periodicals don't know like exactly what you do for a living, they're like, oh, that's a producer, or she's a model. She's a model. Like, no, not everyone's a model and not everyone's a producer. But apparently, like, anybody who makes it in the tabloids and they don't know what they do for a living, that's what they are. Anyway, the PGA should be outraged. The Producer Guild of America. So even recently in 2020, he was arrested and put in jail for 2 months for breaching his parole. And I did say parole, not probation. Parole is when you're supposed to be in prison serving your punishment and they've released you and you're technically in prison, out of prison. And probation is when you've served your time, or you don't have to serve time. You're just being punished with no time, but they then will give you probation. And the lighter punishment of probation just means you're being supervised, mainly for financial reasons, because they want you to pay a restitution or some fee or fine that they've given you through the court. So parole is a lot more serious than probation, although you need to follow the rules no matter what. But in this particular case, he was on parole at the time that he took drugs, and they made him serve 2 months in prison for that, which is really astonishing, right? Because we've seen Paris Hilton get DUIs and stuff, and I don't think she served 1 day or something, I forget, but it was something like that. So, kind of insightful, right? Given what happened with Paris Hilton, and this is Paris, what Kathy did to Paris. There seems to be some sort of genetic wild side in the Hilton kids, right? And it looks like Kathy at one point, thought she was sending Paris to like a bad girl school to be rehabilitated, and she was losing control of her with like what she thought was like drugs and alcohol and partying and stuff. But then you see her other child, Conrad, and I mean, it's not a leap to say he's gone off the deep end. And, I bet she's wondering, like, what could I do with him? Like, helpless with this one. So, yeah, and I've heard him talk. He sounds nuts in a lot of his poems. He seems like he's a little bit unstable. So it's a very unusual circumstance, but I thought I'd bring it to your attention only because I think it's interesting that the brand of the Hiltons is perfection. And the reality is so very, very different. Obviously the whole family has struggled with issues, right? With drugs and alcohol addictions. And trouble with the law, right? And all that. So I don't know. I thought I'd bring it up just because, not to be, even gossipy about Kathy Hilton's son, because I feel bad for him that he's obviously needs some help and he's not able to get it, or it's, I don't know, like the family is not addressing it, or at least publicly they're not. I just wonder, with all those resources and all that money, like you just can't get help, it's very, and I often like think about people wishing they could be like the Hiltons. I'll hear people say to me like, oh, I wish I had Kathy's life or Paris's life. But I'm reminded that you have to be careful for what you wish for, because it's, as I always say, not all things that glitter are gold. And when I watch, Paris in Love, when I watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I see these lives with big mansions and maids and chefs and trips to exotic places, I have to remember that back behind the cameras is potentially a mom like Kathy Hilton, struggling to know what to do about a son who means a lot to her, that is obviously plagued with issues, and she doesn't know what to do about them. And to the point that they have to hide him from their, the world, because it's not consistent with their brand or image that they're putting forward of perfection. And so that's got to torture her, I would say. And it's got to probably torture Kyle, knowing it's brimming right below the surface. It's a lot to have the Hilton name, I'd say. It's a lot of pressure to do the right thing and be perceived as high fashion and highly functioning. Anyway, there were some really juicy things said by him. One implied that he was taking revenge for Paris Hilton in dating this young girl, and that was the daughter of the guy who released the sex tape. And I'm being vague on purpose. Anyway, the detail is in the Patreon. I'm going to put it in the description. It's it's broken down in detail there with evidence and stuff like that. So I'm just being brought on here because I wanted to talk about it because I feel like nobody knows about it. And I feel bothered by that in a sense because it's like this false sense of like, what is the Hilton name? All I hope is that in Paris in Love season 2, we'll cut the crap and stop looking at her next birthday party for her doggies and start to look at some of the real stuff that the Hilton family is dealing with. For example, Carter Ream's child that, you know, he financially takes care of but has no interaction with other than that, which is the strangest thing I've ever heard, frankly. And then also, like, what is it like for Paris Hilton to have Conrad going through all of these things for the last, how many years now? And how does that come into play? And how does the reform school situation and his struggle impact her? And how did that impact Kathy Hilton? Let's get into that. Enough pink parties. I'm over it. I did submit the survey. Peacock Television sent me a survey, and I did pretty much give them that feedback. So maybe they'll listen. You never know. You never know. Okay, tonight I'm doing a live with Ryan Bailey from iHeartRadio. So Bad It's Good. Don't worry if you miss it. It'll record and it'll be in the live section of this channel. But we're discussing the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 12 confessional looks that were leaked and the teaser. And there is a lot to unpack in that teaser. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills they just dropped it for season 12. So you guys go to the live tab tonight at 10 p.m. East Coast time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and join us for the party. If you miss it, watch the recording. It'll also be in the live tab. And I guarantee there'll be things that you don't know about that we talk about. So get the tea. Okay, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And don't forget, in the description of this is the link to the bonus audio. In the Dishing Drama Dana Patreon. Next level gossip, guys. Next level gossip. And it allows me to continue doing what I'm doing. So you should definitely support me when possible. Oh, what else? What else? Really quick. Was there anything else? Oh, send me gossip on my Insta, Wilkie_Dana. Have a really good rest of your week, and let me know what you think in the comments about this video. And there was so much we covered, right? So I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think. I can't wait to read them.